Hey, this is Tiffany Visionista. I'm making this video to talk about America's potential involvement in Syria. Today there was a meeting and the press highlighted certain points that Senator John McCain, a Republican from Arizona, spoke about, and the response that the United States Secretary of Defense, Panetta, gave to Senator McCain's requests, statements, and questions. Senator McCain is very adamant about America going into Syria. He actually has been from the very early stages of the situation in Syria unfolding, and he's made a few press releases saying that he believes we should have already sent our men in there, we should be protecting the citizens, we should arm a group of Syrians, I don't even know which group that would be at this point, and we should be hands-on in terms of our military. My question is, I'd be interested to know if this is the overall Republican stance on the issue. What does Mitt Romney think about this? What does Rick Santorum? Right now it looks like either of those men will be the Republican nominee for the presidential race, and I don't know if they've really made any clear statements in terms of what they believe our country should be doing. I'm interested to hear, do all Republicans feel the way Senator John McCain does, and is that somewhat where the party is headed? So Senator John McCain said today that he really wants to know how many more Syrians have to die for us to decide we're going to get involved. I believe the death toll currently is around 7,500. Of course, it's very difficult to make a calculation, an accurate calculation of how many people have died. And Senator McCain wants to know how many more have to die for us to get involved. What I see is the problem here, and I see this historically with our country. We are so quick to get ourselves involved in international civil or I don't know if civil is the only way, but wars and problems that are taking place in other countries. We really have the philosophy that we are the police people of the world. I do believe America sets a standard that other countries look up to, and in some cases we do set a standard that other countries are disgusted with. So it's important for us to put ourselves on a realistic level, in a perspective that doesn't allow us to be swallowed up by our ego. Currently, the Dow Jones has just recovered to a point which it wasn't at since May of 2008. So our economic strength is coming back in some categories, but a lot of people say the middle class to upper class investors are not really putting their money out there anymore because they don't trust the market. And we have huge issues going on in America. Anything from Social Security, my generation, truly, we cannot expect to have Social Security, to our debt crisis, which is so astronomical at this point that I believe the majority of people give up. Or they just think, okay, we've already spent trillions of dollars. What is 2 billion more? What is 3 billion more? And that's somewhat sometimes the way we approach our budget, which is insane because we are devaluing the dollar and we are hurting our economy. So there's so many issues that are on the table that we have to consider completely before we say we are the police people of the world. I think it would be fantastic if we could be the police people of the world and correct all the problems that we see with the tyrants in certain Middle Eastern countries, if we could fix it all. But prospectively, that's what I want people to understand, is that no, we don't have that type of power, and we don't have that type of money to do that. The secretary, U.S. Secretary Panetta, his response to McCain, I thought, was very logical. And I really appreciate that he has his head on straight. He basically said that he felt we would have to have a clear mission before entering. We'd have to have measurable goals. We would need to understand a budget of how much we could invest to our military and to our men putting ourselves into Syria. And that he would want to understand the issues more of who we would arm and who we would support if we were to take down the Syrian government. Because if we are going to annihilate their government, then all of a sudden, guess what? We're going to have to help rebuild it too. So I thought that was brilliant. And his response was, I want to do all of this. I want to know all of this before I put our men and women in harm's way. What's funny and ironic to me about this is the media has notoriously said Democrats are not patriotic. They don't care about our military. We don't support them. I think this is clear evidence of the contrary. Senator John McCain, a former veteran, or a veteran, he is so quick to pull the gun, to send our men and women right into harm's way. Yes, of course, I know the people who are in the military who protect and serve our country, that's their passion, that's what they want to do. But if we're not willing to send them in armed in whatever capacity, knowing that they have a mission, they have a plan, they have backing, then we're not just going to throw them in there and then all of a sudden say, oh, well, we don't know who we're exactly going to arm, or we don't have enough money really to supply this type of operation there. Then that's careless, that's reckless, and that's contrary to saying, oh yes, we support our military, I'm a Republican, I support the military, but I'm just going to carelessly throw them around the world and put them in different wars. I don't think that's patriotic. And I definitely believe Senator John McCain is a patriotic man. So I'm not going to denounce his character. And that's not what I'm here to say. I'm here to say that I think as a military, with a military mindset, we have to be strategic about how we approach these issues. It's not just emotional. And we hear time and time again through previous affairs, international affairs, and wars that we've been in, that when America enters the war, it does not deter the death toll. It does not alleviate the problems. It broadens the war. It makes it more difficult and more challenging to come up with a solution, and often more people die and more money is spent and everything is complicated. When we intervene in other countries, you can bet that we have just complicated the situation. Oftentimes, when we classify ourselves, and I say we, America, as the police people of the world, we so simplify that. Like, we can just go in there as Superman and solve everything, when there's so many more issues on the table. I want to encourage people to try to see this in a new light. If you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're an independent, maybe you're both. Truthfully, I am from a Republican family, and I now support President Barack Obama, and I do agree with the Democrats on the majority of issues. So I consider myself a Democrat now. But I think what is most important is, regardless of whatever party you are, try to understand the issues. Try to understand the facts, where the people stand, and be less emotional, but more educated about what's exactly happening. On another note, I wanted to say that I don't want to just rag on McCain or the Republicans, because truthfully, I think it's brilliant when I see a politician who is of a different party and he can give a shout out to someone who is of a different party and say, hey, I think that idea is brilliant, because that means there is none of this polarized hogwash, blindsidedness that we so typically see. So what I want to say is Cindy McCain was on Piers Morgan tonight. I really appreciate how she has stood out and spoken against some of the social issues that a lot of Republicans feel are important to them. And she's just said that there are certain issues, social issues within the Republican Party that some of the Republicans agree with and some of them disagree with. But she's been very open and very honest. And she was probably one of the first female voices that I have seen in the Republican Party that have come out and said what Rush Limbaugh did and said was out of line, was rude, was disrespectful, and all women should feel insulted. Michelle Bachmann, she was running for the Republican presidential nomination. She is in the House of Representatives, a Republican. She was actually questioned today by a correspondent, and she wouldn't comment on the Rush Limbaugh issue. She did not want to say anything negative about him because she was afraid of straying from her party. And I was flabbergasted. And I want to say thank you, Cindy McCain, because even though I am currently a Democrat, I feel strong ties to the Republican Party. Being raised in that type of family, and I communicate with a lot of Republicans, and I have to say that I'm sure a lot of female Republican women truly are thankful that you spoke out and you said, this is absolutely something we will not tolerate. And yes, thank goodness, Rush Limbaugh should not be the face of the Republican Party. And there was one more thing I wanted to say. I wanted to end on this. So, Chris Christie, he is a Republican governor from New Jersey. He made a comment on Oprah's Next Chapter interview. He was on her show, and she did an excellent interview with him, and I really admire him as a person, and there's certain political issues that I definitely don't agree with him on, but there's some stances that I do agree with him on, and I like his personality, and probably because I'm outspoken myself and super opinionated, and it's just, I tend to relate to people who are like that as well. So what he said was, if you are a politician, if you're a really good politician, you shouldn't be that type of politician that is super needy of everyone liking you. You shouldn't be that type of politician that will sacrifice and jump all around the issues just so everyone likes you and will vote for you. You should be the type of politician that you know the issues, you know the facts, and you come to a judgment position and you make your choice and you decide what you feel is right for the people of our country, what you feel is best for our country, and then you make your clear stance, and as you approach the issues, you know the issues, but at that point, you want people to know where you stand and like you, not because you're wishy-washy, but because they know that you truly are genuinely in your spot because you're going to make the best judgment call with your power. And a lot of times in politics, people want to be liked, and it becomes an emotional game. That's why a lot of times people won't talk about politics. And I think if you are going to be a politician, your intent always should be wanting to make the best choices and the best decisions for our country and for our people, even when people don't like you. Even when people feel that you are being ignorant about the issues, or what I'm trying to say is that regardless, you obviously should always listen to what the people want. But don't run for office because you want to be popular and because you want to be liked and you just want everyone to emotionally be attached to you. Even though charisma and all those other things are significantly important, do it because you know the issues, you understand what's happening, and you truly are convicted to make decisions and act upon them for the best interests of our people and our country. And I thought that was well said by Chris Christie. Obviously, I think I slaughtered the statement. But don't be a needy politician. Be a genuine politician. That's what I want to say. Thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. I will be talking more about politics. It's something I really am passionate about, and I love to be informed on current events. And I also want to help people understand the issues more so you can make informed decisions. I'm not going to try to change your opinion on things, but I want you to know what's going on so you can make a choice that you feel is right for you and for your family and for your friends. And when you cast a vote, you're not just casting a vote because it's the party, but because you know the issues and you really feel that that party represents who you are and what you believe and the way they're directing the country. Thank you for your time. Bye.